Sarah Blizzard, not with news of the power cut, but with news of maybe the rain that's helping to put that fire out at the substation on Castle Road. It's a bit of a drizzly day. I suppose that's what you want if you're trying to tackle a blaze, isn't it?
Not when electricity is involved.
Oh.
That might be... I'm not quite sure where they stand with that. I don't think it would be a good thing, would it, to have water around if there's electricity about as well.
You have pointed out the stupidity of my comments.
No, not at all. No, I was just suddenly thinking what it is, but I might be totally wrong. But no, I mean, it's very wet today now. We sort of started off with some showery rain around as this sort of front broke up a bit, but the main sort of band is going through now. It's going to stay heavy into the afternoon and throughout the evening as well. A lot of surface water and spray on the roads to sort of contend with too.
So much help on offer to you this morning. You've had your relationship sorted out, and now you're going to sort your dog out with Peter Miller. And then after 11, we've got Garden phoning with Martin and John. So it's 0115 934 3434. Peter Miller is from sitstayleave.com, which is a business that you run, Peter, because you love dogs and you think there is a knack to getting them to behave like dogs in an orderly way. Absolutely. In your home.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Basically, a lot of people that I see have issues with their dogs whereby that they struggle a lot of the time because they don't understand their dog and their dog's behaviour in an everyday sense of reality and the fact that what it does every day and how they interact with it. So what I try to do is help people to understand how their dog behaves and why it does what it does, and in essence I help them to change their behaviour in order to help their dog to have a better life with them, basically.
I think one of the traps that we fall into, just knowing myself and how dogs are so cute and they're so cuddly and you want them like right by you, even in bed. By being so lovely and loving and treating them like your own child,
absolutely,
you confuse the thing. That's
very
what you
much.
say. That's what I've learnt from you.
Yes. It's very easy to confuse a dog by what's called humanising a dog in dog psychology terms. Humanising a dog would just be simply to treat a dog like it is a child or a human, a part of the family, in essence part of a human family. It's very important to understand that it can be part of a family, and we all love our dogs very much and they are part of our family, but at the same time we have to understand that there is a difference between the human family, therefore the adults and children in a household, and the dog. Comes in a different way and different sense, and a different type of behaviour must be applied to the dog, in essence, when you're behaving and interacting with the dog. So not to treat it like a person, otherwise you will encounter problems, basically, and you'll set yourself up for a fall.
So what do you mean then by treating it like a person? What can go wrong? What shouldn't you do?
Well, basically, the simple things are that you just mentioned one, which is that a lot of people who I see say, I ask one of the first questions when I meet people is, where does the dog sleep? A lot of people say, well, when I get up in the morning, the dog jumps up on the bed and gets into bed and has a cuddle with me. This is really a big no-no, because when I always ask that, in answer to that, I always say, when would you ever get into your dog's bed, curl up with the dog, and have a cuddle with the dog in its bed? There should be very obvious places where the dog sleeps, where the dog eats, and where it exercises. And for that purpose, if you have confusion there, then the dog will automatically become confused, anxious, and suffer with all kinds of issues with its behaviour many times on a daily basis.
Right. Ian in Nottingham says that my dog eats faeces. How do I stop it?
Again, this is something that's fairly common, and bizarrely, to a lot of dogs, eating faeces is actually quite a delicacy. It can taste very nice.
Yuck!
Not very pleasant, but it's true, unfortunately. What you need to do is make sure that whenever you see the dog going for it, it's again a case of jumping a step ahead of the dog and trying to be there quicker than the dog will be, and being very firm with a vocal command no when you see the dog going for something, and making sure that it's listening to you. When it does stop doing what you're thinking it's about to do, then you give it positive reinforcement, and it's a case of giving the discipline and praise in the right amounts and at the right time to make sure that the dog will pick up on the fact that you're actually giving it a command and praising it for that command.
Great. Can I squeeze one more in really quickly?
Yeah.
David says, our Staffy Cross is a great dog, but at night she's always having toilet accidents. The daytime is fine. Any suggestions?
Okay, yeah, this is probably a nervous problem. This is probably the dog feeling that it's nervous for being on its own at night. So, excuse me, a lot of things people that do at night when they leave their dogs is they give them a good night kiss, say good night and go upstairs to bed. You shouldn't really do that. You should just walk out of the room, let the dog go to the toilet out in the garden or whatever before, take it out for a walk before you go to bed, before you put in the dog to bed itself, and then just simply leave the dog on its own, making sure it's got fresh water overnight is all it needs, and walking out. Don't give it lots of fuss and attention, because that will only make the dog realise and think that it needs to then immediately be scared and frightened when you leave, because it wants to be in control of where you are at all times. So if you just make sure that you don't give the dog too much fuss and attention, too much over exertion of love and attention can actually cause toilet problems.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, back to where we started in that sense. Peter, thank you so much for your advice. Peter Miller from sitstayleave.com. It's BBC Radio Nottingham.